This is Radio A1AA.com, A1Amedia.com, depending upon where you're at.
For sure.
My name is Mark Mills.
And I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate.
There you go. And this is the Florida Keys Real Estate Guys.
Yes.
Live. That explains a lot. Really, it does. For the next hour or so, we're going to be talking about stuff that are Florida Keys.
Yes.
Top to bottom. And we have some pretty cool things that are happening that we want to get to quickly. But to start off with, I want to tell you about all the people who make this program happen every Monday. Great folks. Mm-hmm. Sunshine Title up at mile marker 103 on the Bayside in Key Largo. Jenny Pinnell and her gang up there are... Mykael will back me up on this.
For
I
sure.
hope that if when you are a real estate agent or a realtor, anyone dealing, even a lawyer dealing in real estate, the number one thing you want to do is get to closing without any surprises.
And those do happen.
Absolutely. And God forbid, they're the scariest thing in the world when you sit down at that closing table and the documents are being passed and it's like, oh, by the way,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Panic
not what you want. Yeah.
Not a problem there.
Yeah, very bad. So
ready to go.
Sunshine Title, no surprise closings.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And boy, I tell you what, they've gotten us through
Quite a few transactions, and some of them had some significant hurdles to get through. But Jenny and her gang gets them done.
Yeah, Mayday.
Yeah,
But,
I always feel confident walking in, knowing that everything's going to go smoothly.
Yeah, absolutely. So check them out. Mile marker 103 on the Bayside. And SunshineTitleFloridaKeys.com would be the place to go there. We have a new guy who has joined the crew here, Jim LaPointe. He is a local Keys lender.
Yes, he is.
And has some great products. Mobile home.
Yeah, exactly. I just sent
Similar-wise.
him some, which if you're familiar with the Keys, we do have a lot of mobile homes here, which are not a bad word as opposed to other places in the world, in a nation, but we get a lot of waterfront mobile homes, and sometimes finding financing for those can be difficult, but he's come through. I've sent him some for our clientele.
Got some great portfolio lending that goes on there.
Even some single wides, which are really a challenge getting financed.
Tough to get financed.
And he's got great programs. Yep. So, and that's just the starting point. And, of course, you go up to regular homes, single-family homes, multi-million-dollar homes, jumbos. He's got, a variety of packages that are there, and, he's so far he's been given some great service as well.
Well, and one of the things that I've always focused on when dealing with buyers especially, and sellers, let's face it, but mostly with buyers is that, be pre-qualified.
It's essential.
Be pre-qualified. Know how much you can spend, and that way there's no heartbreak involved in the whole process. Works out much smoother.
For sure.
And Jim will get you pre-qualified as well. And the bottom line is that when you know that you're walking into a deal, you're only shopping for what you know you can afford, and it's just a much easier process across the board.
Absolutely. To me, it's absolutely essential. Even before you even start looking at properties, speak to a lender. That way, you're not looking at a $600,000 home when you can only afford a $400,000. And conversely, you might be able to find out you can afford a $600,000 versus a $400,000. Exactly, because especially interest rates just went down.
Yeah,
that can make a significant amount, as Harry knows, because he was in the financing business for quite a long time. That drop can make a big difference on your monthly payment.
Monster.
So you might be able to afford more house than what you're considering, or less. So it's an essential tool, and he does a great job getting you pre-qualified and get you ready to go, so you can seriously start looking for a new property.
Well, and working in real estate in paradise here, one of the bottom lines to it all is location, 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 which is the same as local, local, local.
Yes.
And you know what? You come down here from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio, wherever, when you're freezing your butt off and you want to go, oh, God, do I want to stay, or I want my own place here,
right?
So that I can come when I want to, and then I can rent it out the rest of the time. Little investment proposition. Well, the bottom line there is that you want to work with a local Keys lender if you can,
right? Because
when you go back to Ohio, your banker there is going to go, what?
Well, they just don't get, and we've seen that countless times.
Oh, yeah.
For one thing is when you look at price per square foot of our properties, it's off the charts. A lot of banks, let's say in certain parts of the nation where things are more commonplace, they see a standard as price per square foot, and then they see hours and their head rolls around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So a local lender gets that. They understand what's more important is the location, is the canal versus open waterfront, is it in this neighborhood versus that, which an outside area lender just isn't going to understand.
Bottom line.
Those idiosyncrasies, and therefore they're going to have a harder time getting the deal done. Their appraisals, everything along those lines can really be impacted because they just don't know. So local inspectors, realtors, everybody involved in the transaction should be local in the Florida Keys because we're such a unique market.
Yeah. Well, and a footnote to what Mykael just said, you really just have to say Linda Blair. You don't even need to see The Exorcist because everybody understands.
Did she ever do anything else? You know, except get I think she got busted for pot or something like that. Some kind of Playboy spread or whatever.
And the last thing I want to do is run anybody from Hollywood down. So it's a hard enough life as it is. So, but we do appreciate Linda Blair's efforts to our home buying public down here in the Keys. Moving right along, and you know what? You can always find out Jim's most recent rates that are available, which I believe right now are 3.1.
That's awesome. Cheap
3.1.
money.
That is cheap money. You know, it's almost better to borrow money from him than it is to put it in a bank.
Oh, for sure.
But
absolutely.
Yeah. The bottom line is, you do much better. But go to our Radio A1A website, radioa1a.com. There's a little ad in there, and you will see what Jim's current interest rates are.
3.125.
3.125.
I mean, there's really no reason why you'd even want to pay cash right now. Because keep your liquidity.
Yeah,
and when you got money this cheap, it just makes sense. To call them up, get a loan, buy a slice of paradise.
Muy bueno. So, bottom line, moving right along, Heartbreakers Brewery here at Mount Marco 81 on the ocean side, our home turf. And Wednesday night live sessions.
Great stuff.
And is the podcast of Vanini?
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, you can view the podcast of last Wednesday's session, and it is amazing. Steve Vanini and his band are just off the charts. Good stuff. So check that out, and then make it down here on a Wednesday night, or come down any night.
Anytime,
except Monday night.
Get some craft beers.
Yeah, there you go. That works too. Just. Not too many craft beers, and don't drive real far if you do. Or get a cab, even better. The last but not least, of course, the Jake Sullivan series of crime novels authored by Chip Bell. Great guy.
He's got a new one out, I think, he just put out in the series. It looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah, geez. Now, and they're all named after Jimmy Buffett tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're quick reads, perfect beach read.
Perfect for the Keys. Get that Keys vibe, Keys character.
The whole thing going on there. So, again, go to radioa1a.com and click on the guy under the palm tree with a gun. And you'll get to see the whole library right there.
Cuban Crime of Passion.
That's it. Yes. That's it. Good stuff. So, moving right along, our guest for today, first guest.
Yes.
We have two.
We are rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we are, man. Absolutely. Kristin Livengood is a public information officer with Monroe County, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I got the right title, right?
Yep.
Cool beans.
Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. But this is so cool because Cammie Clark brought her in a couple of months ago, like 6 or 8 months ago.
Yeah.
I think. And and we had gotten so reliant upon Cammie. It was like, Jesus, I got nobody. What's Cammie got going on?
Bring her up.
And so
I'm happy to come in anytime.
Awesome.
Kristin has been awesome and always keeping us fed with good information on what's going on in the county. And this is a really cool program.
It is.
Tell me more about Hot Shots.
What you got going?
So we have the Hot Shots program.
Hot
it is
Shots.
something that the BOCC decided to do last year. We had our first group of graduates from...
Something good from the Board of County Commissioners.
They're good. They're good people, I promise
Really?
you.
Oh, okay.
They really are.
Well, let's get it out.
So the Hot Shots program is where we will bring in Monroe County residents.
Right.
They come in, and we will put them through the fire training.
Oh, okay.
About $2,200. We waive
Wow.
their fees for that and send them through the fire academy so that they can hopefully get their fire licensing.
We'll get their certifications.
Yeah, get all their
right?
certifications,
Yeah.
and then they can come on board and work for us or volunteer for us, and we waive all their fees for them.
How sweet
So,
is that?
We haven't finished $2,200, I think, is what it is plus.
yeah.
You know, I mean, you got books and equipment and everything else.
So
that
they
you
still have
gotta
to
buy
cover.
and
They have
rent.
to rent their bunker gear, and they have to still get their books. I think
Yeah.
it's one
Right.
book, the 6th edition of Firefighting
Right.
Academy stuff.
Right.
But they
stuff.
Yeah. Hose, fire,
Yeah, yeah.
So-
water. There you go.
Yeah, so they still have to buy that book, and they still have to rent their bunker gear. But we're hoping it's for local residents, so we're hoping that they already live down here, and they can make the trip to Grassy Key every day.
Well, it's a monstrous savings. Though.
Yeah,
It really
and
is.
I mean it really is,
Huge.
and it's great for kids that are just graduate. You only have to be 18 years old. You have to
Yeah.
have a GED or a diploma or a
Right.
specialty trade school or something.
Probably want to be in pretty good shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do have to do a little bit of course or whatever on the orientation day just to make sure that
Kind of like one of those sick,
Yeah.
twisted, maniacal obstacle courses.
Yes.
if
Yeah,
I
make-
remember
Oh, yeah.
you
correctly.
got to run
Yeah.
a mile in like 12 minutes or something. Like
Carry a certain amount of.
Without barfing up a
Yeah.
lung.
No,
Yeah.
my nephew is a firefighter up in Miami, and anybody who can get that kind of qualification has earned it.
yeah, absolutely.
How old is
So out of
He's 25.
so last year, our graduating class, we started with like 49 people and graduated with 26.
Yeah.
So, and I
Well,
think like
it's
23
not-
of them were locals.
Right.
So
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Yeah, big deal.
Well, and I
So-
mean, let's face it. I mean, I'll get in trouble for this, but what the hell? I'll say it anyways. I mean, a career out of
we
it.
do that all the time.
Yeah, really. But feeding at the government trough is obviously in small town life not a bad way to get by. Like the benefits and the gig are good and the pay is okay. And you know what? You get to stay in your home turf. you
Right,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
And you get to serve your
and
community.
that's a big deal because, the cost of living down here is expensive.
Not cheap.
Yeah, so if we can grow them, I mean, that's where it
Oh,
really
yeah,
is.
for
Yeah,
sure.
so
For sure.
especially if they can stay at mom and dad's house while they're going through training until they
Even better.
start bringing that paycheck in.
So, and then get out and marry a nurse or another county employee.
There you go.
And then y'all can go get your first house from Mykael. and
There you
me.
go. Hello, give me a call.
Absolutely.
We'll hook you up.
So
That's the whole reason why we're here. Folks.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's it.
So there's an orientation meeting on Monday, August 26th at 1:30 at the Joe London Fire Academy on Grassy Key, and
Okay.
it's open to anybody who wants to come out and
Is
learn
it
a little bit more about it.
New location for the fire academy? Weren't they down south further at one time?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It is they did rebuild it, so it is a new facility.
maybe that's
It's
what it is.
state of the
Damage,
art.
right?
Yeah, it's state of the art, beautiful. One of the top rated facilities in the state of
Well,
Florida.
they kind of do
for
the whole
training.
thing though too, right? With they can light buildings on fire and put
Oh,
out
the
the fires
whole
and all that.
yes,
Yeah.
live fire training, like it's very cool. Actually, last year at the graduation, it was an amazing thing just watching all those guys
Right.
guys and girls come together and put out some fire and
I
show
should
us what
sign
they
up for
learned.
this thing just so I can
Yeah.
go watch them do that and
Yeah.
then get kicked out.
So
They would definitely kick me out.
Well, my problem is I'd be the Bill Murray version. Boom, chugga, lugga, lugga.
well, we had a
Stripe.
we had
There you
a
go.
37-year-old graduate from the program.
Man,
so,
that's
yeah.
37.
awesome.
Yeah. So
God.
still get out there and do some running
What
and
was
Colonel
no.
Kurtz. Colonel
was-
Kurtz. He went through the parachute training. 37 years
Oh,
old.
yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Well, yeah, what was that from Apocalypse?
Apocalypse Now. I know. I did
Yeah.
a whole thesis on
Yeah.
that movie. So
Martin Sheen talking about it. And almost it kicked my ass
Yeah.
when I did it
Exactly.
at 25. Yeah, so I mean that's 37.
Yeah.
Going through
And it's hot.
firefighting
It's
training.
That
not-
person must be in some incredible
you're
shape.
in some crazy bunker gear, and you
Oh,
know
yeah.
you got a lot of stuff on. So to be out in this heat too,
I have a
it's-
friend in Minnesota, a guy named David Pacheco. David, if you're out there.
Hey, Dave.
And Dave's a good square guy. He's a really smart guy, and he shifted gears major. And this is just for an example for all of you who are thinking this might be something cool to do. This is exactly what he did.
Right.
Program like this up in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and he was an internet guy for a major corporation, and wanted something else to do with his life. So. He did this kind of fire training, and he passed it at age 48.
Holy
Nice.
cow.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
But I mean, it's perfect though for if you're ready to make like a career.
Oh my
move,
God,
you
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
if you're bored, I mean,
Yep.
this is something that you're not going to be bored. You're
And
going
what
to
a
have
serv-
something
and
different every day.
Service
so.
to the community, man.
Yeah,
That's so
Absolutely.
critical.
It is. It's
Absolutely.
really cool.
So.
Yeah, they look pretty studly in those uniforms. Not that I'm, but
Anyway, if you want more information on the
Even,
program,
even the ladies.
I think I got her. That was the little speed bump for Kristin.
Yeah. Why did I come
I want
on
to do a
here?
calendar,
Didn't
but
know
I think
better?
it's getting vetoed.
No, they goes,
Why are these guys not in the
funding
calendar?
this program anymore? That's for sure.
So, but if you want to find out more information, it is at www.monroe-county-fl.gov/hotshots.
Hot shots.
I think it's the name of the calendar, isn't it?
That should be.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't go in. The first place that I went with that was just like not even on cable radio.
Maybe I don't want to
Not
know.
even on internet radio.
I saw that movie too.
Nope, we're not going there. So, but this is really a cool program. First of all, to recap, they waived the $2,200
They
fee.
waived
That
the
right
fee?
there is
For your tuition.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
with the waiving of the fee, though, that they ask that if you don't start working for the county right away, that you at least volunteer for us for 3 years.
Right, which,
and and then they waive the fee, and you have all this training that costs $2,200 that you get for free. I mean,
Personally, I believe that should be an option for anybody who wants to go to college in America, is to be able to do public service for
trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's called the Army.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
Navy,
exactly.
the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast
Fire
Guard,
department.
Peace Corps,
Yeah.
fire department, police,
Yeah.
all of that stuff should be supplemented by people who can volunteer in lieu of their tuition. I think it's a great idea.
And it's
absolutely.
just great. And hopefully we'll get some homegrown kids that maybe just graduated and they're like, what am I going to do now? And,
Get in there
Absolutely.
and kick ass,
or
man.
someone who's in their
Absolutely.
30s and ready to trade their
Or maybe finally,
or 40s or 50s.
30s who wants to put down the bong and go to work. So
You
That's a
probably have to
possibility.
pass the drug test. So
Well,
you're going to have to put that bong down
they're gonna
right
have
now.
to get off mom and dad's couch at the 40-year-old, put the bong down,
Yeah.
get clean, and then you can get going.
Yeah. It's really hard getting mom to pee in a jar. Too. It just is
I didn't have a problem with that.
tough. You got to come up with a really good explanation. But I mean, this is an awesome program, and again, it's a great savings. It's a marvelous way to be trained to serve your community, and lo and behold, beyond that, once again, Monroe
.gov/hotshots.
The way to go on that for
Yes.
sure. Kristin, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for
we're
having
really
me.
happy.
Appreciate the
Yeah,
info.
by all means, come back if something else is going
Yeah,
on.
I like sending some of my girls your way, but I like coming every once in a while
Homies.
too. Up
Yes.
here.
You
Yeah.
know, well,
There you go.
the group that you have sent us has been wonderful.
Great,
Yes.
So,
great.
I mean, from Helen to Ms. Matthews and down the line,
Yep.
Great
everybody's
info.
been awesome.
Good,
So,
good.
really
I'm
cool
enjoying it and glad to get them out here too.
stuff. Thank
so.
you, pal. Much
Always
obliged.
glad
Thanks
to
for
have
having
you
me,
on.
guys.
Absolutely.
Good
you
to see
bet.
you again.
Have
Sit
a good
tight.
day.
We'll
Okay.
be right. We are going to take a
Yes,
break.
number
You
one.
are listening to Florida Keys Real Estate Guys live on Radio A1A.com, on A1A Media, on Facebook and YouTube. And we will be back. Please like us on Facebook.
Come on back.
Jake Sullivan lies near death in a coma. His best friend Mike drives the hunt for the man who leads a criminal enterprise that could poison paradise with a chemical weapon. There's no safe harbor to be had here. Cuban Crime of Passion is the latest in the Jake Sullivan series from author Chip Bell. Available now, Cuban Crime of Passion. Check out RadioA1A.com. Click on the guy under the palm tree with the gun.
Cartel in Key West, corrupt politicians.
Hello, this is Michael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate with your Real Estate Comp featured property. Today, spotlighting 125 Venetian Drive in Isla Mirada. Here, you can enjoy the phenomenal Isla Mirada lifestyle in this just-built waterfront home. Everything's new. 3 bedrooms upstairs and a separate guest suite downstairs. Exceptional features include stunning granite kitchen, veranda, sumptuous master bath, and a homeowner's park with its rare sandy beach. This is your bucket list opportunity. For more information on this home and other power buys, contact me at 305-439-7730 and visit my award-winning Florida Keys lifestyle blog at therealestatecomp.com.
Surprise! Great for a birthday, anniversary party, but a real estate transaction? That is not what you want. You don't want surprises when it comes to closing a real estate deal. The way to a smooth closing with no surprises is Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call Ginny or Pam or even Irene. Hey, these three gals will take care of you. Close your transaction smoothly with no surprises. Real estate closings, 1031 exchange, escrow, all your needs are taken care of there with no surprises. It's Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call 305-451-0032 or just Google up Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys.
The Florida Keys is a chain of islands known for its crystal blue waters, famous for sports fishing, world-class diving, and its laid-back atmosphere. Nestled between the Everglades National Park and the National Marine Sanctuary, the Keys are home to a precious and rare ecosystem found nowhere else. Here you will also find world-class dining featuring fresh-from-the-dock seafood, as well as other chef-prepared culinary favorites. The Florida Keys has the feel of a quaint seaside village with a laid-back vibe, taking you worlds away from everyday cares. Stunning coastal-inspired homes line the shores of the islands, offering spectacular sunset views. Whether you start your day taking in the sunrise on your oceanfront veranda or heading out on the water for an adventure, the Keys has something to offer everyone. American Caribbean Real Estate, your Christie's International Real Estate Brokerage, knows that our island lifestyle is just as important as the home, and we are prepared to match you to the right property to fit your lifestyle. As the local Christie's International Real Estate affiliate, we have the powerful backing of the network, including 1,300 offices worldwide, and the only real estate company owned by a premier auction house. This, added to our local market expertise, makes American Caribbean Real Estate the right agency to assist you in finding your piece of paradise in the Florida Keys.
This is your Key West Honorary Mayor, Gonzo Mays, and you're listening to Radio A1A, music for the road to paradise. So damn the carnations, full speed ahead.
Hey, there we are. Hello.
Right, okay.
How you doing?
I hate
Marcel,
it when
Marceau.
that stroke pops back in again. Damn thing, I got to chase it off eventually. Welcome back to the program.
Yes.
I am Mark Mills.
And I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate.
And I have no affiliation with anybody anymore. I'm not even tied to the planet.
No,
so there.
not at all.
The bottom line is, folks, here that we do have the second half of our program is going to be kind of lively.
Yes.
So we
Good
appreciate
stuff.
your coming back. Joining us is Marlene Weeks, who last week we qualified you as a homemaker, activist, and business owner. Well, butt kicker too, but you know,
I
kind of
like
all
that
the
one the best.
The butt kicker,
Gadfly, you know.
that's it. You know, just the older you get, it's hard to get your foot up there to
I know.
motivate them.
County pest.
County pest. I love that. That's great. You know what? Find me a small town or a county government across America that doesn't need somebody just like yourself who,
Sure.
and I mean, the pest is really far too negative because you have kept your eyes and ears on what has transpired with our county government over the years and, changed the world. I don't know, but, made things better. Yeah. Definitely.
I think you're an advocate, for the populace.
Well, and I mean, the importance of green space is just,
especially down here.
That we're coming to this now
Right.
in 2019 is kind of why did it take so long? But not even a question I would ask you. I'm sorry. But much ado about something very important, and that is green space. Where are we at with this? Let's pick it up from last week.
Okay. So just want to let everybody know that on August 20th.
And your camera is right here.
Oh, my camera is right here.
Yeah,
okay. August 20th. It's Save Our Green Space Town Hall meeting. This is totally a grassroots effort.
Absolutely.
A group of us that just, again, by fluke, we found out about this on July 15th, July 17th. We were at a BOCC meeting. Didn't have a great reception. I just want to encourage everyone, go to your Board of County Commissioners website. Go under meetings and agenda, pull up the video on August 17th. They pulled, when I got there, I pulled the 4 items that tied to the Upper Keys and specifically to Key Largo Park and the affordable housing development that they're planning for that area. I pulled them from the bulk agenda, and so they're the first ones after they basically pledged allegiance and all that. There's a presentation on the affordable housing and then these 4 items. We were all taken aback basically at how not receptive.
Really?
I'm trying to say this very nicely. How non-receptive they were for our input, and it was really sad. Actually, I think it's sad. And
our county commissioners were not receptive.
Yeah, no, and we basically were told that Commissioner Carruthers, when we started talking about all of this stuff, and it basically has to do with, it started the conversation with pickleball courts and putting in 6 pickleball courts inside that beautiful green space at Key Largo Park. If you start looking into pickleball, which I didn't know anything about until this conversation came up, those courts measure almost 1,000 square feet each, and they wanted to put 6 in that open space. And it's the space that's already prone to flooding. So this is red flags to me why we were even having a discussion
Why would you do this?
about this. So basically what happened is that from there, the conversation, those pickleball courts were supposed to be on the out parcel, according to...
Which originally was designated as an overflow parking area.
Exactly.
Right.
And let's talk so that everybody can follow all this conversation. That out parcel is referred to as Track E. It's a meets and bounds legal description as part of the plat of Port Largo, and it's referred to as Track E. So Track E is literally the parking space or the lot behind Walgreens in front of Key Largo Park. And so the conversation became, don't take up our green space. That was there for a reason. That was the buffer, the compromise between the county coming into an existing neighborhood. And from there, it became the Pickleball Association people thought and were under the impression that their courts, whatever the county was going to give them, was going to go in that out parcel, Track E. And then now, the next conversation was, guess what? We're having 5 affordable housing units going in there. Here's where they are on that. When I was here last week, I was here on a Monday. Wednesday the 6th at 3 o'clock, the county submitted an application for 2 grants. And so that's where it tracks to the affordable housing property designation for that. Here's what happened is I kept pushing to see if we could get the copy of the grant. We've not yet received the copy of the grant from the county. The process is already shut down. So now until September 6th, we're not able to see the grant that the county submitted. Tallahassee doesn't disclose that until 30-day period after the grant application has shut down. So what that was, and this is, I want to really call attention and highlight this one part that I'm really bothered with, and I need us all as residents of Monroe County to focus on. Again, that parcel got added to a meeting that was on the agenda for Key West. Okay, remember that. Key West.
And 100 miles away.
100 miles away. Nobody even knew that this was happening, and it was part of adding this parcel, a grant writer's submission.
Excuse me for interrupting, but in Key West is focused on Key West problems.
Of course.
Okay. In Key Largo, we are focused on Key Largo problems.
Yes.
And issues and whatnot, but to be more succinct. But the bottom line is you want to have local people looking at
everything.
Local issues,
local,
understanding. Yeah, and it's going to be real tough in Key West to have anybody give a rip about what's going on in Key Largo.
Yeah,
for sure.
So please,
I think that's probably why it bothers me so much. It's not that we should be a family here in Monroe County, okay, and we should all care about each other's backyards because that's what makes us this tight knit community.
For sure.
But there's nobody who's going to pay more attention on a subject matter than those living right in that area.
Right.
So the fact that this was not even on the agenda, the fact that this wasn't even on the Parks and Rec agenda on July 15th, which is the beginning of this conversation, that's really bothersome to me. We got to stop all these add-ons. And I brought this to the attention of the county attorney, Bob Schillinger, and I'm still waiting to hear from that reply. But I know it's technically not a violation possibly of sunshine, but I believe that it's going against county policy. On that meeting, July 17th, Commissioner Murphy goes a step further and for the record says we can't talk about Key Largo anywhere further south than Marathon, but yet she introduced this parcel as an add-on in Key West.
Right.
And nobody had any knowledge of this. So I want to stay focused on that.
Right.
Here's the part that's bothersome. When the county bought that parcel for the affordable housing, at that county commission meeting, truthfully, they belittled us as residents. And they made us sound like we were crazy, that this was not even ever supposed to be a continuation or an extension of the park. And we weren't crazy. We've been part of this conversation, at least I have, 93 that they bought the park, and 95 that they bought the park, and 2003 that they bought this Track E. Mm-hmm. And it's always that Track E has always been represented to us that it was an extension.
Right, okay.
So I want to go back to that because we touched on it lightly. And this is the document after that meeting. I wish I would have uncovered it before. They made us sound like we were crazy in assuming that. And in 2003, they basically bought that and they sold us the bill of goods that this was supposed to be a property proposed as an addition to the Key Largo Community Park for the development of a skating facility. The skating facility never went in there because
the skating facility went into the parking lot.
Into the parking lot, right.
So they bought this piece of land, and they took the skating facility that was supposed to go on that piece of land, put it in the parking lot instead, and left that piece of land sitting there.
Absolutely. Okay. And it became an issue of safety, which I didn't have a problem with it. Keep the kids safe, not a problem. But where I have a problem now is that they're reneging on all of this thing. They're reneging on the green space that they promised us in 95 when they bought the park, leaving it green. They're reneging on the fact that in 2003 they told us that was going to be overflow parking and for skateboard and all of that stuff. And now, if we're not careful, that parcel is needed for parking. If you want to appease the folks that are in the Pickleball Association, they were led to believe that these courts were going to be in there.
Right.
And it's not a bad idea to have that there. We're not opposed to that because, in essence, that's going to be a surface that can be multi-used for parking. It can be for debris, again, for the storms, etc.
Well, I was just going to say that in regards to the storms, I mean, that parcel of land has been used for a long line of things that...
Absolutely.
It's kind of like having the really strong, not very bright cousin that you just bring in and he picks up a refrigerator and walks out with it and says, where would you like this?
No kidding.
So, but, I mean, that's what that piece of land has been, and it's been used for everything but what it was originally supposed to be used for.
As of July 4th, it was the staging or at the end of the July 4th parade.
It's a utility parcel.
Yeah, everything. And it's you know what? It's a great idea to have it. Now, here's where I want to move today because we kind of stopped at this point, and I want to pick up on it.
Right.
When I'm at the BOCC meeting on July 17th, and I'm in front of the commissioners, and it's my turn to talk, I basically asked, I know all of this has to do with affordable housing. I wanted to know. I know that it's about 4,000 units that were lost, and I specifically asked, I said I was under the impression, based on newspapers, et cetera, that most of those units were lost down south.
Right.
So I didn't understand what the urgent need was to submit this parcel by August 6th at 3 o'clock for this designation when there is such a great need down south, and it's almost a $2 million grant that they could have done some real good down south.
Sure.
Not at this point, I hadn't had the benefit because remember, we only had 24 hours to put this together. I didn't have the benefit of actually having numbers. So I asked this question. Can the person who just did the presentation on the affordable housing tell us how many were lost in the Upper Keys? Commissioner Murphy turned to that person and said, don't answer that question. Okay.
Why?
So
what?
I don't know. But here's what I've found out since, and I believe it's the reason.
Isn't
this
it?
is all on tape.
Yeah.
The reason that I am concerned about this and that I am like a horse with blinders with it is because we found out since, thanks to some great journalism from the Free Press, Teresa Java.
Right.
She
Good writer.
Great writer.
Yeah.
And she's very thorough in her investigations. And she basically put in an article that was a couple of Wednesdays ago in the front page of the Free Press, where she basically states that over 4,000 units were lost. The original calculation in the Upper Keys was 75. When they re-looked at those numbers, not all of them were completely destroyed. So 75 went down to 46, okay? And in the total Upper Keys at this point, we have 116 units, okay? Big Pine, in her article, it states Big Pine alone lost 473. And at the time she wrote the story, all they have is 14 affordable housing units.
Wow.
I don't understand why the county didn't use this time and these resources for these grant writers to take this $2 million down south, where they lost 473 and only have 14 units. And they're so focused on doing it in Key Largo, where we all know we need affordable housing. That's not even a question. But the problem is that we have more resources available to us. We have a lot of our people that drive from Florida City and Homestead, and they commute, and we can get by with that. Those folks down there, they really don't have a lot of options. Okay? And that would have been a much better use of time and staff energy.
Of course.
Okay,
now,
I'm gonna hold you up right there.
There you go.
Sure.
We have to pay the bills.
No problem.
We are talking with Marlene Weeks, community activist and business owner here in Key Largo. And you are listening to the Florida Keys Real Estate Guys. I am Mark Mills.
I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate.
And we will return in a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
This is your Key West Honorary Mayor, Gonzo Mays, and you're listening to Radio A1A, music for the road to paradise. So damn the carnations, full speed ahead.
Hey, Radio A1A listeners, this is Mykael Marinelli, the real estate conch, wishing you tropical vibes. Hello, Radio A1A listeners, this is Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate. Let me ask you, are you tired of the same old real estate agents doing the same old stuff the same old way? I provide a level of service that most agents can't, don't, or won't. Contact me to find your piece of paradise here in the Florida Keys, or to assist you in finding a great agent nationwide. As part of the Christie's International Real Estate Network, I've got a team of agents that can take care of you no matter where you are. So no matter what your real estate needs are, with 22 years of service, contact me, Mykael Marinelli, the real estate conch of American Caribbean Real Estate, at 305-439-7730, or visit me at my award-winning Florida Keys Real Estate and Lifestyle blog at therealestateconch.com. I look forward to working with you soon.
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to radioa18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
Keys, folks, it's that time of year again. You are running every which way you can, and it seems like you just cannot keep up. That's right, it's season. Not that season. Tax season. Hi, this is Mark Mills. For the last 10 years, Marshall Walker and his team at H&R Block in Key Largo, you know, the one over by the Publix, well, they have done my taxes through thick and thin. H&R Block has been there for me, and they have won my taxes. Let H&R Block in Key Largo, next to the Publix, get your taxes won. The end of tax season is nigh. Call now, 305-451-2562.
This is author Sammy Mays. May I recommend the Jake Sullivan series of novels by author Chip Bell.
He's Jake Sullivan and he's on the run. He's working for the president while basking in the sun.
If you enjoy reading, you need to read Chip Bell's latest novel, We Are the People Our Parents Warned Us About. Read and collect all 13 books in the Jake Sullivan series at chipbellauthor.com. The Jake Sullivan series has been awarded Mayor Gonzo Mays 5 Parrots in a Palm Tree for literary excellence.
Tropical crimes in tropical climes. Assassins right there on the beach. Like a secret agent.
I'm Maynard Edwards from Baltimore, Maryland, and whenever I'm on the road to the Florida Keys or I just want to feel like I'm in the Florida Keys, I listen to Trop Rock on Radio A1A at radioa1a.com.
Recently become a big fan of people from Baltimore, Maryland, but not Maynard is fine. So, Maynard's a good guy.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to the show, Florida Keys Real Estate Guys Live. We are having a spirited discussion.
Yeah, good stuff.
With
Important stuff.
Marlene Weeks. Very important stuff, actually. And point of interest, a lot of our information for our strategic plan, many counties across the country do this on an annual basis.
Right.
They will go to civic organizations and ask their individuals, their members, to take a survey and let them know what's most important. And we do that here in Monroe County, and Marlene has some of that information for us.
Yes. So it was ironic because before all of this conversation started, I am a director for the Key Largo Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
And so at one of our luncheons a few months ago, back last year, they brought in the strategic planning person in charge for Monroe County, and she came in and they did a presentation, and it was all electronic, and you basically would dial in, on your phone. You could participate in the survey, and there was all these questions that were asked and answered, and they were tallying basically all these votes.
Sure.
Little did I know how this would translate to something like this at this point. And I wish I would have paid more attention, to be honest with you. I did the survey, I participated in the survey, but I wish I would have encouraged more people to participate in the survey, because essentially what I found out in the last 3 weeks is that with this strategic planning, it's basically what the county administrators and the commission use to determine what are priorities from Key Largo to Key West as far as what they're going to address and be focusing on. But
people have found interesting flaws in marketing surveys for a long time.
Right.
So
please
continue.
And so here's the thing. Everybody's talking about affordable housing, workforce housing, employee housing. There's a lot of those terms being thrown out there. And we actually went online to the county's website, and I mean, it's a 376-page strategic plan. Wow. Okay, it's a lot. But on page 316 of that plan, it talks through their social media department on October 5th.
Right.
They basically published this question, and I want to talk about that again, second priority today. It says here, we want to hear from Monroe County residents about our priorities for Monroe County's 2020 strategic plan. Every week, now through the end of October, we will post a question about an issue affecting the Keys. And this week's question, which was back on October 5th, the community has told us, quote, affordable/workforce housing, unquote, is a top concern. While most agree both are important, which would you prioritize for county efforts, affordable or workforce? And then you see the definitions. This next part, the definitions, it was mind-boggling to me. And we just discovered this a couple days ago. Affordable, what affordable means, and what we need to be careful when we talk about affordable, because the county's version of affordable is different than our version of affordable. And I need to get that word out to everybody, because they're not hearing the word affordable like we're interpreting the word understanding the word affordable. To affordable for the county says essentially housing available to individuals who meet predetermined income levels. That's it. It doesn't say that you have to work in Monroe County. It doesn't say you have to live. Nothing. It's just affordable based on your income limits. Now, workforce, which is, I think, what most of us are talking about, is essentially housing available to individuals who meet predetermined income levels and earn at least 70% of their income from employment within the Florida Keys. Okay, so this is for this conversation about affordable, and I've been part of this conversation through the Chamber of Commerce and director. a lot of what we see is businesses here who have employees and they can't afford to live here, so their retention is really poor because they can't. I mean, from when I was SAC chair and PTA president and all of that at the schools where we have a hard time finding housing for our teachers. Okay, a lot of our teachers, some I shouldn't say a lot, but a good amount still commute from Homestead.
Sure.
Okay, and they have alternative means and they don't mind, but I mean, that's sad that they have to commute.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not a fun commute.
So here's where this is funny. I was at. And by the way, this is the best part. This survey, only 490 votes for this workforce housing. Okay. 74% voted for workforce housing. 26% voted for affordable housing. 490 votes total. When we have a population of almost 60,000 in Monroe County.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, people, they're basing everything on just this small group, which to me is mind-boggling. But here's the part that it ties into. Like right now, we were talking before the break. I went to the Largo Honda hearing on Friday. There was about 70-some people, almost 80 people that showed up to this hearing.
Well, and it's in regards to just to clarify,
yes.
A site Largo Honda used to occupy.
Right. It's not
yes.
Not
yes.
that they did
Absolutely.
anything wrong or
no,
anything like
not
that.
at all. And thank you for clarifying.
Well, and it's the south west corner, I think, of mile marker 100, which is Atlantic Boulevard and the Overseas Highway in Key Largo.
Yep. Right. And this is it used to be, to clarify, it used to be the old Largo Honda site. Right. And basically, it's been vacant for a while. It is not a great looking building.
It's not pretty.
It's not pretty at all. And yes, we would love to see something better in there.
Right.
But my takeaway from the whole thing was, here's like 80-some people that show up on a Friday night at 5:05 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Stayed around for an hour and a half or actually 2.5 hours to discuss this. And what we found out from there is that it's still in this is required by the planning department in order to get to the next stage, which is the planning review. They went through the developmental review. The developmental review came back and said, you need to have this hearing. You need to fix these things. These are areas of concern. They talked about traffic study. They had a gentleman there who actually did the traffic study for the developer. And then the conversation moved to the affordable housing. And they are planning 8 affordable housing units in back of there. And
Affordable.
It was really funny because I feel Jim Saunders was the person leading this conversation on behalf of the owner and the developer. The developer was there. The Kessler Group was there. And when it came time to this, the Kessler Group, quite charming gentleman, but he's kind of used to doing his own thing. And when the question came up is how many units and how much are these units going to be? Well, he said, they're going to be these really nice 2-bedroom, 2.5, units. And it's going to be very nice and all of this. And they're going to be around $2,200 for these units. Well, Jim Saunders at that point went like, no, you can't say that in front of everyone because you haven't received your allocations. Right. And basically what's funny about this is that he doesn't even, he has to wait. And this is just like a private person trying to work with the county, and he's not used to it. It was apparent to me. And so he thought that by doing, saying this, that's what he's planning. But the truth of the matter is that the county is going to dictate to him how many are moderate, medium, how many are low, how many are very low. And that's what he has to put on there, whether he likes it or he doesn't.
I'm guessing that Mr. Saunders felt a lot like one of those guys on the Titanic when the boat went. He was just hanging out.
No, that wasn't so bad until I brought up this point. Elizabeth Mosinski.
Oh, there you go.
The ship was still above water. Yeah. Where it was taking a dive was towards the end. Elizabeth Mosinski from the president of the chamber basically asked, because all of these hearings are down in Marathon, and this one was done in this area because they have to do it within the geographic area. Sure. But the next one, which is a key one, is going to take place in Marathon. And a lot of those people were upset that those meetings aren't taking place in the Upper Keys. And rightly so. Elizabeth basically raises her hand and says, is there any way to do these meetings up here?
Yeah.
And at which point, Cheryl Shafari says, no, those meetings are held in Marathon, because that's where, I guess, all the, the planning committee and everything is there. And then Sylvia was in the audience, Sylvia Murphy, and she basically says, that the reason they decided to do that back then is because of the fact that all of the staff is there, and to get all that staff on the road to go 100 miles one way or 50 miles or whatever, it was taking up a lot of staff time. At which point, this is where Jim Saunders didn't want to hear this part from me. I basically said, well, you know what? I think that it's worth another discussion, and I think we need to start talking about having a planning commission up here, having our code enforcement meetings up here. Right at this point,
apparently these people have not heard of the newfangled technology called the telephone
or live stream
or
video conferencing or anything. All of
any
those
of
things.
this.
Any of it would be a much better process for the residents. That's what we need to push for, especially with this Largo Honda. They have, I think that the dates were 45 days to 120 days from when they put the application in to get this to the next stage. And then if they deny it, there's an appeal period. And then it's basically, if they win, whatever, it's the next stage. I guess they get their permit.
Well, and I'm sure that all of these facilities where the BOCC meetings take place have video and audio service to them. So if that's the case, they can be plugged in and fed down the line.
But here's the thing, Mark, and that's great. And that's the first short-term solution to all of this.
Right.
But the long-term solution that we need to be advocating for as residents down here is the fact that now we're the largest population, if I'm not mistaken, in unincorporated Monroe.
Right.
If we're the largest population, why does our population have to travel south to hear the things that concern us and we're directly impacted from? I don't want to throw out the word incorporation, but that's the reason why a lot of these other cities incorporated, because they didn't feel, the citizens didn't feel heard.
They weren't being fairly represented.
They weren't being represented. They weren't being heard. And you know what? We need to talk. I was not, and I'm going to go on the record, I was not a proponent of incorporating when that discussion came up years ago. But let me tell you something. I am not that same. I don't have that same
how things
feeling.
Change.
It has, and it's sad. And I think our county officials need to be very aware of what they can do by keeping us in the dark.
Couldn't agree with you.
You know what I mean? I think that they need to be transparent.
Absolutely.
And I love that word these days, transparent, because things like this and grassroots efforts that lead, one conversation leads to another, that leads to another. And here we are. Now, what do we talk about? Do we talk about?
I think the phrase we're looking for here is taxation without representation.
Yes.
And on that note, we're going to take another break.
Yes.
Okay. And we got a little bit of business to tend to.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Harry, take it away. You're watching Florida Keys Real Estate Guys live on Radio A1A. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Want to avoid the hassle of traffic and parking? Why not park your car and leave it, then hop on the free Duval Loop? This free hop-on, hop-off bus service runs from the city's Park and Ride on Grinnell Street. The Duval Loop gives you free and easy access to restaurants, galleries, gift shops, and theaters. Just park once and forget it. Go green and ride the bus, the free Duval Loop.
Keys, folks, it's that time of year again. You are running every which way you can, and it seems like you just cannot keep up. That's right, it's season. Not that season. Tax season. Hi, this is Mark Mills. For the last 10 years, Marshall Walker and his team at H&R Block in Key Largo, the one over by the Publix, well, they have done my taxes through thick and thin. H&R Block has been there for me, and they have won my taxes. Let H&R Block in Key Largo, next to the Publix, get your taxes won. The end of tax season is nigh. Call now, 305-451-2562.
Surprise! Great for a birthday, anniversary party, but a real estate transaction? That is not what you want. You don't want surprises when it comes to closing a real estate deal. The way to a smooth closing with no surprises is Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call Ginny or Pam or even Irene. Hey, These 3 gals will take care of you, close your transaction smoothly with no surprises. Real estate closings, 1031 exchange, escrow, all your needs are taken care of there with no surprises. It's Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call 305-451-0032 or just Google up Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys.
Hey, Radio A1A listeners, this is Mykael Marinelli, the Real Estate Conch, wishing you tropical vibes.
More to come from the Real Estate Conch in just a few seconds, folks. We're going to wrap this up with Marlene Weeks. And
great information, man.
You know what? I'll make you a deal. I'm going to announce on the news every month here on RadioA1A.com the schedule and the things that are listed for the BOCC Commission meetings. Yes. And if you'll come back and keep us updated on this stuff.
Of course.
Fair
Next
enough?
one is in Key West.
Cool.
So,
All
but
right.
then we start in
Well,
Key
then
Largo
we'll
on
assume more Key Largo land deals will take place.
Key West. Yeah, that's usually how it works, right?
September is Key Largo.
Secret agenda.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
No
And
problem.
you have a title business also.
I do.
If people need to. And Ginny, forgive me, but
Yes.
you guys know each other.
Yes,
so,
we're all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Please put your number out there, and if people want to work with
It's Coastal Title, 305-852-1477.
Thank you,
for
dear.
that plug.
Much obliged.
Thank
Please
you.
come back and talk
Please
to us
do.
real
Will do.
soon, okay?
Will do.
Cool beans.
Thank you.
Mykael has
Yeah.
some pretty cool stuff going on at Ocean Point.
Yeah, really cool stuff. As you folks might know, we just had lobster season start this last week. And, it's funny, almost every time of the year this happens, and I get these questions like, man, we love coming down here. I don't really know if I want to buy a single-family home or a condo for me. I'd like to make some money off it. What do you recommend? I got 3 of those calls this week. And let me tell you, the best vehicle that I believe we have down here is an area called Ocean Point.
Oh, yeah, flat
It's
out.
in Tavernier, mile marker 93. Think of an awesome resort with marina, little restaurant, pub.
Monstrous
swimming pool.
Hot tub,
guard gated,
Oh, yeah.
walking paths. I mean, just a first-rate resort that you can own in. And if you'd like, their in-house management company will rent it out for you, do everything, and send you a check. Or you can manage it yourself, put it on VRBO. It's one of the few areas that we have, I should say complexes, that you can do less than 30-day rentals.
Oh, yeah.
You can do
You can do
7-day
nightly.
rentals. You can do nightly rentals if you want. And let me tell you, the 2-bedroom units generally gross $50,000 a year.
Yeah, and net out probably, I'm guessing, or low to mid-20s.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Low to mid-20s, depending on what you're doing. You're managing it, they're managing it. And that's on a between $350 to $450 purchase price.
Oh, yeah,
So your
absolutely.
rate of return on this is fantastic.
Outstanding.
They don't have limitations on when you can use it. A lot of times when you're looking at these investment properties, there are limitations of when you personally can use it. You can use it as much as you want. If you're an owner there, you can keep your boat in the marina as long as you want while you're there on the premises.
Right.
They've also got great boat storage. So if that's something you're looking for is making money on your opportunity to use it down here, give me a call, 305-439-7730, and let me explain to you how Ocean Point can be your incredible investment and enjoyment vehicle.
All right, man. Ocean Point I worked with Tommy.
Tom, he's the Ocean Point king.
He's the guy,
Yeah.
And but you're the next guy.
Yes,
So,
yes, I am.
Right.
I'm Plan B. Plan B is good.
Plan B is always good. Harry, what kind of time have we got left?
30 seconds.
All right,
30
about
seconds.
30 seconds. So, folks, again, thank you to Marlene Weeks.
Yes.
Thank you to
Appreciate all
Kristin
the great
Livengood. Mykael, always a pleasure,
Yes.
sir. And we will see you next Monday.
I'm going to wish you tropical vibes.
If I had my way, I'd set sail right away. Destination, southern shores. Throw my cares upon a shelf. Head on off for somewheres else, where the weather's always warm. We're out